All right, my Dominican people, a pleasant good evening to you. Those of you in the region, pleasant good evening as well, or even further afield. It's always a pleasure each and every Saturday to have you guys on board here on this program. This program is dubbed our topic Saturday Night Live Engagement with yours truly, Lofty Dura. That is a program where yours truly try very, very hard to speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, especially where the facts of the information, especially as it pertains to Dominica, our region, and our world is concerned. All right, it's a very educational and informative program, and so I always thank you guys for being on board each and every time. Okay, so the number of folks of you already here locked onto the live feed, thank you very, very much indeed. And as I always say, your duty / your responsibility, it is to share that live information and make someone know that that live information is on, and they too can be a participant, a listener, a follower, whatever it is, to this program. And so I urge all of you, those of you who have not done so as yet, and encourage others to do so as well, to turn on that notification button under my Facebook page, that is Lofty Dura, so that whenever I go live, be it in a setting like that or out on the field, then you will get that notification, and so you will not be missing anything. All right, that helps me to keep the conversation going, and of course it helps in the whole scheme of things. So turn on that notification button in that on that page, so that whenever yours truly go live, you will be right there in terms of getting that notice as it goes. All right, so yes, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, young people as well in the listening and viewing audience. It's the 11th of May, yes, 2024, and so here we go again with yet another very interesting program. As I said, this evening we're going to touch on a number of topics, and so you know how we drop it each and every Saturday. Let me tell you guys straight off the bat that there will be absolutely no Civic Vibes program tomorrow. Tomorrow, the 12th of May, being Mother's Day, the world set aside that day to recognize the importance of our mothers among us. And so in that light, Civic Vibes has chosen to take that day off, as it were, so that mothers can sort of, get a break from the hard sort of metal information that we normally drop each and every Sunday rather on the Civic Vibes program. All right, so folks, please take note. So please don't line up tomorrow at 6 o'clock like around that time for a Civic Vibes program. All right, the team at Civic Vibes will basically postpone the program till next week Sunday. So please take note in that regard. Yes. Okay, folks, we're gonna start with some international matters here, or at least one international matter in the interest of time. And I speak specifically to now the situation that unfolded just about last year, October, that is, where Israel as a country and Palestine as another country, they were at war and still at war since. And the last check I checked, in terms of the death toll, about 35,000 people have died so far. And that certainly cannot augur well. And so it's on that very sad note that I want to start off the conversation this evening and asking us, because yes, we have an important role to play as well in lifting our voices and saying something as it pertains to that, I am saying, unnecessary war, where a number of persons so far have lost their lives in a very unwarranted ways. Yeah, men, women, children, the innocent, the not so innocent, 35,000 and counting, and that cannot continue in that form and fashion. So basically 7 years on, staring down a year that we heard Israel as a country basically pronounced to the world that they were going to deal with Hamas, as they said, and the militia that is operating inside Palestine And here is this conflict. That conflict is not yesterday's conflict, but it has escalated to where at least 35,000 bodies have lost their lives. And we as a people, small as we think we are, we can raise our voices and say that thing must stop. I know it's a very complex, it's a very complicated situation, as it were, but we are part of this global space. And so what affects one people directly, it sure has the potential to affect all of us indirectly. And so it's on that premise here that I ask us if we can raise our voices as loud as we can, wherever we are operating from, be it in Dominica, the region of Federal Field, to at least say something in defense of the number of lives that have been lost innocently or otherwise. I personally don't really care at this time. A life is a life, and a life is supposed to be treasured. I know there are lives lost on both sides, but the death toll on the Palestinian side, it is very, very concerning at this time. And just following international news, I am hearing that one of the main allies of the Israelites, that is the US, they are now reconsidering their action in terms of supplying Israel with the ammo in order that this unwarranted attack continue on a people. I mean to say, it is just heartbreaking for us to sit as a people and see in real time. I am saying now, that is my words now, which you know I don't mix very much when I'm convinced of something. I am saying we are witnessing in real time in the 21st century televised terrorism going on, and we see it in real time. And because it is backed by the great US, then some of us think it is okay, but no, it is not okay. And so whatever thinking minds can sit around a table. I know many attempts have been made already, but these attempts are futile thus far. But it is always good that we always call and urge these people, Mr. Netanyahu and his crew, Mr. Biden and his crew, the Hamas leaders and their crew, you guys just need to, temper down things as well. We also have on our plate this Ukraine and Russia war going on for much longer now, 2 years and counting. We're also hearing of potential a conflict as well between China and Taiwan. And so what is this world coming to as it pertains to all these wars and rumors of wars? Some of you may say, which I agree, these wars were predicted many moons ago, and so it is just a matter of prophecy being fulfilled. But in all that, innocent lives have been lost, and whatever we can do to help curb the scourge of that very ugly situation, please let us try to do what we can. All right? Basically, people, an ideology cannot die. An ideology cannot die. As a matter of fact, if you ask me, my very conscious and honest, bitter truth, if you try to kill an ideology, what you are in effect doing, you are only giving it more fertilizer, as it were. You are only spreading more seeds in fertile soil so that that ideology can continue to torment you. And obviously, whoever is being tormented will react. And so the cycle will continue. All right? Just to sum up on that segment here, I was listening to a report from someone on the ground reporting the very horrific situation that is occurring on the Palestinian side of things. And this man basically said he's only living, he's only alive now because of his children. For him personally, he said that death is much more honorable than the humiliation that he and his people have gone through now for a number of months. we said it. And if someone can come to that kind of place in their life where they would rather be out of that sort of humiliation, then it speaks to where these people are mentally, where they are physically, where they are spiritually, psychologically, where they are. And so that's why I said, and I'll repeat, an ideology cannot die. You cannot kill an ideology. And to me, what has been happening over there and continues up to this day, it is a matter of trying to find a way to live together as brothers and sisters. Because at the end of the day, these people are one people. Whatever differences separate them, then that is just that. But if you go a bit deeper, they are all one people. Some have different ideologies than others, different philosophy than others, and it is very insane to try to eliminate, to eradicate, to do away with, to wipe out, as it were, the way of people think. That cannot happen. So I just wanted to start off the program this evening on that very sad note, to suggest and say to us that we can do in our own little corner what we must do to help prevent what is going on now and maybe what is to come in terms of the lives that have been lost. All right? Good. All right. What I want to tell us again, well, let me go regional now before I come to local. In the regional aspect of things, I am hearing that, well, let me track back a bit. A couple of programs back, I reported to us that I was in a conversation via a link. You know, these days everything is, so you normally have meetings via someone sending a link to you, and you're part and parcel of, wherever somebody's at, wherever part of the world. So I was part of a conversation with a group called MSR, that is Media Selection Reporting. That's the name of the group, to be precise. It's a media that really specifically specializes in the film and related industry. And I was invited to a function, a meeting rather, whereby certain representatives of certain organizations across the globe, they were present. But of note, I remember some persons at that meeting were the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, that is Mr. Terence Drew, Honorable Terence Drew. I also remember, I cannot remember his name right now, but he was in attendance as well, the head of the CBI program in St. Kitts and Nevis. He was there. Who else? The Attorney General of St. Kitts and Nevis was there as well. The names don't come to mind. We had representatives from the MSR grouping, a number of other journalists across the region and the further afield. Who else we had there at that meeting? But basically, what that meeting, the main item on the agenda at that meeting was, among other things, was the announcement that because of St. Kitts as a government, St. Kitts and Nevis as a government, taking very proactive role to help curb that scourge of persons who are of nefarious characteristics, having in their possession passports to enable them to travel to certain countries which they are barred from going. St. Kitts and Nevis was looked upon by this MSR grouping and came in for very, very high praise. And as a result of that, I believe it was said then, and I will read a document to you in a while to confirm what I'm going to tell you, about $35 million was to be set aside so that St. Kitts and Nevis, about 10 or a dozen films were to be documented in St. Kitts and Nevis as part of that organization's bigger agenda. All right? And so yes, I got some communication to suggest that that $35 million package, it has been rolled out. And so St. Kitts and Nevis, as this small country, nice knitted packed country, as we speak, they are enjoying the fruits of their hard work as it pertains to helping in terms of the corrupt activities, clamping down on the corrupt activities that go into the CBI programs in St. Kitts and in our region. Other countries have participated in that program, including Dominica, who signed some kind of document basically saying or suggesting or agreeing to help clamp down. But St. Kitts and Nevis, based on reporting, is miles ahead as it pertains to their very proactive action or actions where that is concerned. And so they are now benefiting, as I said, of a $35 million dole-out by that MSR grouping, where some films will be documented. It's like they'll be making, for those of you who really have a difficulty in understanding what I'm saying. It is basically St. Kitts and Nevis will be that country where 10 or 12 films about, will be documented there. And as a result, you know now some of you should know what go into the production of these high calibered films, all right, which normally blockbuster movies or blockbuster films or documentaries. A lot of money goes into that in terms of participants, spending, the economy, to helpers, workers, everybody basically have some kind of part to play. And so, yes, the St. Kitts and people, they are benefiting in that regard. Let me just, before I move from there, read to you now what I am talking about in terms of more factual information by a correspondent that I got earlier today, alerting me of that very fact, okay? Let me see if I just pull that up here. No, I think I will look for that on my computer instead, because just give me a break, people. Let me just get that right here. And I will let you guys at least have a snapshot of the read up as I'm going through, so that you could see for yourself as well the information that I'm bringing to you. 2 minutes and we should be right there. Okay, let me just, I think I got it here. Let me just pan that camera on that PC here so that you guys could see exactly what is happening here. Okay, a logo of the MSR grouping is attached to the left of that letter. Well, it's just to the left of me, to the right on the paper. Yeah, so it says here MSR Media, St. Kitts, West Indies, right? It starts by saying MSR Media official launch, Washington DC, United States of America, April 18th, 2024. MSR Media, a dynamic international film production company, has invested over $35 million to produce 10 films in St. Kitts and Nevis, and has purchased and renovated the former OTI Hotel at the St. Kitts and Nevis government's request. MSR Media invested in the economy of St. Kitts and Nevis with the understanding that it would be participating in a free and fair citizenship by investment market. However, MSR Media has learned that the CBI industry has been plagued with corruption, fraud, and money laundering across the Caribbean. Over the past 2 years, MSR Media was designated as an approved public benefactor by St. Kitts and Nevis, has fought to investigate and end illegal practices in St. Kitts and Nevis and beyond. The communique continues by saying, in particular, MSR Media has investigated, revealed, and publicly denounced the illegal, quote-unquote, underselling of citizenship by investments units at prices well below the legally mandated rates, allowing for corrupt actors to corner the market and provide kickbacks to government officials who allow these practices to persist. These actions have defrauded the citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis, as well as good faith investors like MSR Media. MSR Media welcomes the news that 4 Caribbean nations, including St. Kitts and Nevis, recently signed a memorandum of understanding seeking to end this illicit conduct once and for all for the good of its citizens. And let me pause by saying here, people, I can tell you from a very factual standpoint that Dominica is a country that has signed that communique as well, okay? The only country I'm being told so far that is out still, that hasn't signed, is St. Lucia. But let's continue here. It says, in response to MSR Media's campaign to end corruption in the CBI industry, bad actors, including Caribbean Galaxy Real Estate Group and its executive Les Khan and Hing Jin, as well as former Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Dr. Harris, have sought to silence the truth. They will not succeed. MSR Media plans to file a lawsuit in the United States Federal Court in the coming weeks in order to hold these individuals and companies accountable for defrauding MSR Media and the people of St. Kitts and Nevis of millions of dollars. Those who knowingly participate in these illegal practices or allow them to continue, including CBI escrow agents and CBI sales agents, such as Eric Major of IRF Trust and Latitude, are put on notice that they may be included in this lawsuit. MSR Media highly suggests that these sales agents and escrow agents contact our US-based attorneys within 5 business working days of this press release by contacting transparency@mlichev.com. MSR and its US-based attorneys plan to present these explosive findings in the US federal court, demonstrating the scope and depth of this international scam, which has violated US laws related to corruption, fraud, and money laundering. MSR Media has obtained financial data from the US and international financial systems, including evidence of transactions benefiting government officials related to the CBI industry. MSR, as a significant American investor in the St. Kitts and Nevis economy, wants to see the country and people succeed on a level playing field along with other Caribbean nations. While 4 Caribbean countries have pledged to reshape the CBI industry's pricing and practices, St. Lucia's decision not to join the MOU, in effect allowing Caribbean Galaxy to continue with their corrupt activities, is an obstacle to the goal of a free and fair CBI market. It continues by saying, to be clear, as investigators in the European Union, United States, and United Kingdom examine the Caribbean CBI industry more closely, this widespread corruption presents a grave existential threat to Caribbean economies and visa-free travel privileges enjoyed by its citizens. MSR Media, along with the US-based attorneys, will address the issue by engaging directly with St. Lucia's Prime Minister Philip G. Pierre, and Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Tourism and Investment, Ernest Hilaire. These officials are invited to join MSR Media at its attorney's offices in Washington, D.C. within the next 10 days to review investigative findings regarding the criminal activities undertaken by some bad actors in the CBI industry, including but not limited to Caribbean Galaxy, which currently dominates the CBI market in St. Lucia. We believe that this evidence will help these St. Lucian government officials understand the gravity of the situation and to stop Caribbean Galaxy from operating and undermining international laws before the problem spirals out of control and derails the entire Caribbean CBI industry. MSR Media's invitation to review evidence is also extended to Apple Leisure Group /AMR Collection, a major investor in St. Lucia's tourism sector. The last but final paragraph reads, MSR has obtained troubling, serious evidence of potential security risk to the U.S. and to the European Union resulting from poorly performed due diligence processes handled directly and or indirectly by Caribbean Galaxy and its CEO out of China. This evidence has been provided to the U.S. authorities and will be provided next week to the European Commission. All right, people, so that basically is the communique that I just read from MSR as this grouping, and where, as the writer or read-up said, St. Lucia and St. Kitts and Nevis, will be benefiting directly from a program that they are heading, especially in the area of film and film production and movie production. About 35 million US dollars will be injected into the St. Kitts and Nevis economy. All right, people, so that here, right there, is proof as it pertains to what I was telling you guys earlier. All right, just to elaborate a bit on what we just read, I remember seeing some sort of situation floating on social media, whereby the St. Lucia, some of St. Lucia ministers in government, they were summoned to a meeting. I don't know if what was established there in terms of that letter, where it's basically said the Minister of Tourism and other officials, including the Prime Minister of St. Lucia, were to report. I don't know. I cannot verify whether what we saw circulating on social media about 4 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, that was part of the move by this MSR group and the other European/US organizations to basically get St. Lucia or St. Lucians in line where what they're trying to achieve, really, the CBI program. All right? I'll have to do some asking and get back to you in a subsequent program. All right? But in brief, what I can tell you is that Dominica as well, our own Dominica, has signed on to that MOU, whereby the other 3 countries, I think it's Dominica, St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua and Grenada, I believe, signed this document, basically saying that they will do all within their power to help curb the scourge, that is, of these corrupt practices that go on, where persons who are not supposed to be in possession of passports from these countries get these passports, and they now have the access, as it were, to travel to countries which originally would have barred them from entering. All right, based on their character. All right. So I just thought I would sort of concretize that to us this evening, from where I reported on in terms of how St. Kitts and Nevis will be benefiting from that package. All right. I also contacted a prominent legal mind in St. Kitts and Nevis, who basically confirmed to me that yes, they are in St. Kitts and Nevis and now, seeing the benefits or reaping the benefits of their government at least attempting to help regularize that whole passport peddling program, I call it, in our region. Okay, so here are these organizations out of the UK, the European Union, the United States, and other organizations trying to really, as some may say, not kill the program, but regularize it, because it cannot be we're selling our passports in Dominica for 100,000 EC, and in St. Kitts and Nevis it is 250 EC. It's just, something is wrong. And the very same access or pass, as it were, that someone in St. Kitts buying the passport in St. Kitts has, that is the same access someone in Dominica who bought the passport in Dominica has. And we all know about the kickbacks that go with these purchases of passports, whereby, well, in Dominica's case, it is 100,000 EC. Once the Treasury sees that kind of money, then the government is fine. But there's word out there, allegations out there, that the agents, that is where the real money pack is being unpacked, whereby these agents can charge or put on the table any amount of money which will be in their coffers / whatever kickbacks who have to get in that kicking back situation. So once our Dominica Treasury gets 100,000 with its fees and whatever it is, then the government of the day is fine with that. And the extra thousands of dollars, which amounts to sometimes millions of dollars, that these persons of nefarious characteristics or characters would want to pay for that kind of access, then we know nothing, absolutely nothing about the extra monies as to where they go and what they do. But if you have sense, you'll get a good idea. Well, common sense that is. You should get a good idea as to where some of this money come back to play out themselves and to even hunt us as a people. The 2019 general election in Dominica, we heard about 70 million EC dollars. That was what was said in the public domain up till now. Not one government official came to rebut or say nothing in their defense as to these were not the kind of monies that were floating around. So where would a government that, based on what we know in Dominica, don't get themselves engaged in any type of fundraising activity, bona fide fundraising activity that is, where would a government or a group of people get that kind of money to unleash on a people during an election campaign? 70 million EC dollars. So at least as per what we like to say per population, which is less, the Dominica Labour Party in 2019, it was said out there, nobody, Prime Minister Dang, have not yet come to the public to disassociate themselves with that. And so, as we speak, it stands as if it's a fact on the record. You would have at least 1 million EC dollars per person in an election. And so, we in Dominica can be talking about free and fair election and electoral reform. But unless and until that kind of money is put in check, then we can kiss our efforts bye-bye. Unless there's not a cap, there's not a ceiling on that kind of money, people in opposition can kiss their chances bye-bye as it pertains to being in that position to govern Dominica. And so that is why I am very glad, very, very glad that is, that at least these organizations out there, what we cannot do or choose not to do for ourselves, they are helping in that regard by helping clamp down. And if needs be, yes, I am saying shut down some of these programs in the region which continue to pose a threat to their security and even our security as well. Because we knew of this before the peddling of our passports. Dominica and Dominicans survived. So it cannot be, if not CBI, then what? That is a false, a very false narration right there. That is injected into your psyche in Dominica so that these people can continue to peddle our passports in a very, very perpetual way where there will be no end in sight. And I am saying, based on the numbers that we are hearing, we are already outnumbered in our country. Because if pretty close to 50,000 passports have been sold, meaning we have a population out there of 50,000 people have in their possession our passport, which makes them a Dominican, just like you and I, then we are in for something, people. And that is the risk that we run in terms of that program just continuing in this very unabated form and fashion. That's it. So those of you who want to as the elderly would say, brick stick in your ears, then that is left to you. But there are some of us, we are not breaking stick in our ears where this country is concerned. And so later down in the program, I'll suggest to us where we have other options out there, viable, sustainable options out there, other than selling our birthright. Yeah, so we'll get to that. Now, let us get down now to more local issues now as we're continuing on here. Before I get into the local issues, let me just see if you guys have a comment or two before we hurry on. It's already 1:45. Alvin Anthony says here, good evening, Lofty, listening and watching from Bellwood, Illinois. Many atrocities are committed and have been committed in the name of defense, and in this case, with the help of the United States, Israel continues to reign supreme in this unwarranted and unjustified killing of innocent civilians, in this so-called war in the name of defense, their sovereignty and security, and their future. He continues by writing, America, if they want to put a stop to the suffering of the Palestinian people, they need to stop supplying Israel with weapons of war and destruction. The Palestinian people are defenseless, and unmatched in terms of weapons and their capabilities to stand up to Israel. Thank you very much, my brother, for your comment here and your commenting. Marshall Lawrence says, guys, follow the name Miko Piled on Palestine Jewish history. Thanks, Marshall, for your comment. Immersive Vigil is right, but one thing, St. Kitts making the money, the people flourishing. Bernard Allen writes, greetings all, greetings Lofty, greetings JG. Lofty, I'm listening legally. I want to know, you have to qualify that for us, Brother Ali. Are you not supposed to be listening now? But, you know, that's on his side. But he says, you're listening legally as my vehicle was broken down, and so I'm sitting here waiting assistance from the mechanics. Okay, thanks for the context. Bro, what can you tell us about 2 Dominican government representatives being sent back to the Caribbean from the UK earlier this week? Are they both holders of diplomatic passports? If so, I ask myself why. We'll get to that in just a bit, Brother Allen, but thanks for your question nonetheless. Raise your voices for Congo as well. That is what Twa Williams is suggesting here. We also must not forget Congo. Why are we as Malian people forgetting the Congo? Well, Twa, I have not forgotten the Congo, but thanks for reminding me. But it is people like you as well that need to add your voice to the whole plethora of issues, all right? Because for sure, these 2 programs that I have here and we have here, everything cannot be exploited. But thank you very, very much for your reminder. Any comment else here worth mentioning as we are moving on? Lofty, good evening. So I'm hearing a rumbling in the background. Well, I don't know what rumbling you're talking about, Brother Vital. All that is blowing in my background here is a fan as we speak. All right. Iris says, me myself, I want a passport to sell myself, to feed myself and my family. Ron Joseph writes, Lofty is sipping on some fresh coconut water. No, that's not coconut water, Ron. That is pure Twapito water, right? Not coconut water. Angela Allen, bless up Lofty, bless up to you as well, brother. Who else? Well, we have here. Okay, I think we can move from there. Yeah. In terms of comments. Someone is asking, any news on the opening of the House of Dark Secrets? Well, nothing in that department as yet for you who are asking. There was this, what should I say, Sipsion outside that there would be an opening last Friday, but what I can tell, I've not heard or seen any move in that department, so I am just assuming that it was pushed back or being postponed for whatever reason. But this house cannot just remain unoccupied for much longer. Okay, so we wait with bated breath. Okay, but on my end, nothing as yet to report. Okay, Dominicans, let us move on here. Yeah, okay, so let me take on Brother Allen's point now. I read, and I hope you read as well, a story from the Marboids. Is Marboids? No, let me be correct, people. Let me be correct in quotation here. Let me be correct, because this thing comes so fast and furious. Not Marboids, sorry, Mass in the Cemetery, okay? So whoever Marboid you are, my apology. We read an article this morning, waking up this morning to an article from Mass in the Cemetery entitled, "Oh, whatever that long word is, the moment." Breaking news of some people, 2 people to be precise, that story are mentioned, whereby it says here in that story that Mass in the Cemetery got some kind of word that 2 people got deported from the United Kingdom, and I would want to think is back to Dominica, because they are Dominicans based on what I know. The story said that they were on the route to Dubai, but whilst in transit in Dubai, in England, sorry, they were not allowed to continue on their mission. And so that is what Mass in the Cemetery reported to us. I woke up to that breaking news, as it were, this morning. When I got that news, what I did, I reached out to some counterparts of mine in the UK. Basically send that story to them and ask them whether there's any veracity, whether there's any truth, whether there's any facts as it pertains to that revelation. The people of mine over there told me that they'll get back to me once they get any more factual information with that story, but they appreciated the effort in which I did to send it to them. All right? So I await their response or responses in that regard. And so not being armed now with any more factual information, then I would want to, at this time, hold my fire, as it were, on that story that broke this morning on Mass in the Cemetery. What I also learned as well, or read as well, is that there's another paper, another blogger or bloggers under the name of Dominica Daily. These people, whoever they are there, they are basically rebutting that situation that Mass in the Cemetery reported on. Okay? All right? Yeah, so I was going to read these articles, but better judgment tell me, leave out these articles. They're online, so you can go read them yourself. Also, you can look up the Dominica Daily. There's a response as well there in terms of whoever it is refuting claims of these two people were deported from the United Kingdom. All right? And so unless and until I get any more factual information as it relates to that story, then I personally don't want to dig any further into that at this time. What I can tell you for sure, that my digging from the United Kingdom's end, it will not be coming from any one singular body in terms of response or responses. It will be coming from, at least for sure, an organization, okay, which is very credible, and which that organization, I'm not saying should, will be in the know, factually that is, whether two Dominicans were deported from the United Kingdom, okay? So, as I said, let me just hold my horses on that. And once anything factually becomes available from the UK's end, at least a particular organization, then you can count on yours truly to bring you the unadulterated facts. All right? But for now, I will continue to treat that scenario as a mere allegation for now. I know Dominicans, they are very saucy people. When I say saucy, meaning some Dominicans always like the details. But if yours truly, I'm not in possession of the details in black and white. I am not in the details. I'm not in the know where the details are concerned from very factual standpoint or standpoints, then I wouldn't be diving into any saucy area. Okay? Good. So we'll leave that there for now. Leave that rest on the shelf. For sure, I will have something to report to you at least by next week, Saturday. So please be in tune for that kind of conversation. Okay, Dominicans, as we are moving on now, and those of you interested in the program as well, there are non-Dominicans listening. And what I do here, I touch on every topic. There's nothing that is off the chart. This week, on Thursday it was, yes, Thursday of this week, we heard the news in Dominica that a brand new political party was registered in the Commonwealth of Dominica. And so seeing that is a fact, then I'll now go to DNO. That's the Dominican News Online that I'm quoting now. Read that registration of a new political party in Dominica. Read the article there and give my piece as it pertains to that new political party. All right? The story there was entered Thursday, May 9, 2024 at 12:40 p.m. It's entitled New Political Party in Dominica Officially Recognized. A new political party has been officially recognized in the Commonwealth of Dominica. A letter from the Chief Elections Officer, Ian Michael Anthony, stated that under Regulations 4.2 of the House of Assembly's Elections Regulations, the United Progressive Party, that is the UPP, open quote now, is a recognized political party in the Commonwealth of Dominica with effect from May 8th, 2024, close quote. Open quote again, meaning Mr. Ian Anthony is still speaking. In that regard, the party has been allocated the bottle as its symbol. Accordingly, the official candidate or candidates of the party in each constituency shall be entitled to have the party symbol printed opposite his or her name on the ballot paper, close quote, Mr. Anthony said. Dominican News Online got hold of a copy of the UPP's constitution and declarations, which were officially launched in the Kalinago territory and which clearly state that any provisions in the constitution inconsistent with the constitution of the Commonwealth of Dominica is null and void. Open quote again, the party's color shall be orange and the symbol shall be the bottle, the constitution for the states. Open quote, the party's symbol represents independence and freedom subject to the constitution and laws of the Commonwealth of Dominica. The motto of the party shall be Unity for Progress, while the slogan is Unity for Progress. Let me take that again. The motto of the party shall be Unity for Progress, while the slogan is Unity for Progress. Close quote. According to the document, open quote again, the UPP envisions a Dominica which stands tall and moves where democracy and freedom fully prevail. The people have dignity, the resources of the country are used in a sustainable manner towards optimizing the well-being of its citizens and residents in an equitable manner, and people are empowered to thrive economically and socially and are committed to common good and the power of community, close quote. The party's mission, according to its constitution, is to contest the general elections in Dominica in order to gain political office, open quote, again, so that it can manage the nation's affairs towards attaining the above vision, close quote. Open quote again, the party's core values shall be sustainable development, solidarity, dignity, justice, equity, liberty, freedom, transparency, leadership, integrity, and accountability, close quote. The Constitution goes to state, again, open quote, the party shall develop policy papers, strategies, programs, and manifestos to guide the pursuit of its mission and to guide and progress, and to make progress, towards the vision. While not in political office, the party shall engage in encouraging sustainable development efforts and as much as is possible, contribute to laying a foundation that would facilitate faster development progress once it enters into political office than would otherwise be possible, close quote. It continues by saying here, it says, the party's duties are to promote the party's objectives, mission, policies, and programs, popularize and defend the policies and programs of the party, adhere to the codes, policies, and rules of the party. National officials will constitute the National Executive Council of the UPP. Open quote again, it says, national officials shall be elected by the delegates of the party to serve for a 3-year term, close quote. The Constitution explains, open quote, in electing the national officials, The Delegates Congress shall make reasonable efforts towards having not more than 2/3 of the membership being of the same gender. Close quote. The final paragraph here reads, Dominica's political spectrum currently includes the reigning Dominica Labour Party, established in 1955, the second oldest Dominica Freedom Party, established in 1968, followed by the United Workers' Party, 1988. Additionally, the Alternative People's Party, APP, and Team Unity, TUD, were established in 2019, and 2022, respectively. All right, folks, so that basically is the read-up on from DNO's end as it relates to the new party that emerged on the scene as of Thursday gone, where a party was registered. All right? Good. Well, what I want to tell you guys now is that I got a number of calls when the news came out that that party was registered. I got a number of calls from persons in the news, from persons who I did not know at all, from some persons I knew, asking me, Lofty, what about that new party? And so my question to them was, what about that new party? Because I want to be fundamentally clear tonight, because I know Dominicans, some Dominicans that is, let me qualify my statement here. Misguided statements, you guys, you take that and run with that. Unfounded statements, allegations, innuendos, you guys take that and run with that as if, well, it is gospel. But where I am concerned, where this coconut is concerned, as some people say in Dominica, I like to speak my truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth. And so you need not go to any other body to find out anything about me, especially where the public is concerned or my public engagement is concerned. My private life, then I may or may not divulge to you, even if you ask, that's my private life. But where public life is concerned, I believe I owe it to the public now to tell the public exactly as it is in terms of my position. Okay? And from the outset, let me just be very, very clear that yours truly, like any other body in Dominica, I have a democratic right to associate or to align or to not to align myself with any grouping in Dominica, political, religious, social, whatever it is. So that is where I want to start. Because for some people in Dominica, as soon as they hear your name mentioned with a particular group of people, then they take a position, not trying to ascertain the facts as to if or not. And so that is where some of us get it really, really skewed up. But I understand the country in which we live, and I try to navigate those waters. And so I cannot take, and I will not dare take any right from anybody in Dominica with who they choose to associate themselves with or not. So I want that to be straight up on the agenda as we continue to discuss matters where my name is concerned in Dominica. I can't speak for anybody else. So it's from that platform, that plane, I want to start the conversation with us. That's the fundamental point I want to make. So if you hear my name being associated with party A or party B or group B or group C, whatever it is, true or not, I reserve that right. You have your opinion, that's fine. I cannot take that from you. That is my right. Also too, you have your right, which I cannot take from you. But of late, some Dominicans, we get so, quote-unquote, partisan. We get so politically partisan in our approach to things that our judgment, our better judgment is clouded by the fundamentals. And one fundamental fact, you cannot or ought not to take the right of anybody, which is guaranteed under the Constitution, to associate with anybody, any group that they choose to. That's a fundamental fact. That is what we are fighting for in the opposition every day we open our mouth. It is for our rights to be protected by the Constitution and not be, like as Angelo Allen would say, our laws just running around, which, you know, you can just kill willy-nilly. Yeah? Good. Now, a number of persons in the past approached yours truly and asked yours truly certain questions and had conversations with yours truly about the formation of a new movement for Dominica. Okay? That was the tone of the conversation or conversations that I had with a number of different people in Dominica. So all those persons who are there now, listening, watching, or maybe we'll do that later, you guys will know exactly what I'm talking about in terms of our conversations. And so anything that is to Dominica's benefit, you will find me gravitating towards that. So if, for example, my brother here, who's it? Ron Joseph, opens a conversation now, if he calls me and say, Lofty, let us do something together that would benefit the country. Naturally, by just those utterances, I will gravitate towards Ron's utterances. When I get there with Ron, in terms of further communicate, activities, events, and stuff, and I see, well, okay, what Ron is doing, or what Ron is saying aligns up with where I believe Dominica should go, then yours truly will be further committed. But if the contrary happens, then you will see yours truly as well moving away. Yeah? And so that is just me. So anything that is for Dominica, to put Dominica in a better light, no matter even with the Pope or the priest, I will be part of it. Okay? Good. My reservation in that now is, this DLP regime, they have expired their time. They have gone past their time. So you will not find me now, what I said to you a while ago, sitting down with any expired, I call them, representative or representatives of the DLP regime to talk about moving that country forward. We have seen them. I have seen them at work, and they can do no more. They have basically plateaued. I keep saying that. They reached their mark. And so that is my reservation in that regard. But any new, bright, forward-thinking, inspiring, motivating, whatever it is you want to put by that, tells me, let's go, we'll go. How far I go, then it is left to my conscience and country. Yeah? Good. So, obviously, some persons, as I said, call me, ask me if I am part of this new party. Let me be very categorical here, people. I am not the part of any new party in Dominica. Okay? What I can tell you as a position of fact, yours truly have had conversations with certain people who I believe still are members of whatever it is of that new party. But where I am concerned, as we speak, I am not a member of any new party in Dominica. A matter of fact, what I was associated with in terms of conversations was a new movement. Obviously, in political language, is to be politically correct. Once the movement, a group, or whatever it is, has registered I understand it would have to take on now a new name, a new posture, a new face. So I understand now the moving away from new movement to new party. Now it has been registered. I understand that clearly well. No issues there. What I want to say as well, I wish that new party very, very well as well, because it is these people as well democratic right to be part of or form whatever they want to form, which now dovetail itself into the registration of a new party. So I cannot take that from these people. And so if what I heard and I understood these people to have been saying, it is what really they will be doing in terms of action on the ground, I am for that as a Dominican. All right? So all those of you out there who choose to ask Lou to get information from Sue, for Sue to come to me, so that before it gets back to Lou, it gets mangled and twisted, you can refer them to at least that section of the program tonight. Now, that doesn't mean, even if I am not part of the new party now, as I said, on paper, that doesn't mean I cannot be in the future associated with that party or another party in the future. That doesn't say that. I want that to be fundamentally clear as well. So just in case, perhaps 3 months, 5 months, 6 months down the road you hear, or I come and tell you, I am now associated with that new entity. Don't hold it and say, Lofty, you lied to us. No. I'm telling you straight up now, it is my unreserved right to associate with who or not to. That's it. But I want to say in very categorical terms and tones, presently, yours truly, I am not aligned with, a matter of fact, I am not aligned politically with any political party in Dominica. I'm not a member. I'm not a subscribing member. I'm not committed to any political entity in Dominica. I may be supporting a political ideology where some men and women are in a party. That's fine. That's my right. And those of you who know me very well, the ideology of the United Workers' Party, some of the ideologies, then it resonated with me and still continue to resonate today. And so on that note, I supported the United Workers' Party a number of times. And so that is a fact that I can tell you as fact. The ideology of Labour Party, it has not, and I do think with that current regime, will want to, I cannot identify with that. Not what I've seen and not where they are. No. I cannot identify with that. So I'll pass. The Freedom Party, a number of persons as well from the Freedom Party have approached me as well. Whatever is left of the Freedom Party. A number, 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 5, 6 people from the Freedom Party approached yours truly as well and said, Lofty, we need you to come on board in some way, shape, or form. Again, I have a very good listening ear. I can understand, but I can tell you very categorically, I have not committed myself to any political party in Dominica. If you're doing the work, and I see that work is about country, the furtherance of country, then that's fine. I will be aligned with you. If I choose to be committed to you or to the party or to the group or whatever it is, then that's fine. But as of now, it is what it is. All right? So once I give my support to at least listening, then obviously I'm a very proactive person. Very, very proactive. And so I am much more of a doer than a talker when it comes to making things happen. So once I align myself with a group in terms of even hearing, if you are executing an activity or event or whatever it is, I will lend my support for the betterment of country. So in that regard, yes, when we were having conversations, when I was having conversations with that new movement, there were certain things that new movement in terms of activity or activities engaged itself in. I was part and parcel of the activity or activities. That's fine. That's the kind of proactive person I am. But as to the commitment to say I am a founding member or what, no. I haven't reached that stage yet. Okay? So I just thought I'll put it there tonight. Because since the registration of that new party, I've been getting a number of calls. Some people call me after 11 in the night, send me messages, 6, 7, 8 messages I have to respond to in the morning and whatever it is. Lofty, are you part of that? Are you part of this? Are you part of that? I am hearing your name there, I'm hearing your name there. And to tell you the plain truth, I choose not to respond to everybody in how they would like me to respond. So if I did not respond to you, I'm sorry. But I just said tonight, let me just use part of this segment tonight to help clarify, help clear up that scenario as we move forward. All right? Because I know very well, even with print or audio, a response can be twisted or distorted. And maybe the answer I would give, I see Ken show up here. In principle, it would maybe the same answer I may be giving Bernice. But Kent and Bernice would take the same answer and have a different connotation towards it. So I know those kind of dynamics, especially in the political arena. So that is why I chose not to respond to persons who wanted an answer from me when they want it at the time. All right? But I chose tonight in this forum where it is clear. You can go back to it how many times because it is there for posterity as to my utterances tonight. So whenever, if ever, yours truly is committed to a movement, to a political party, to move Dominica in the future in a way that I think that you guys ought to know, trust me, you will know. Until that time, all what you hear out there, it's speculation or allegation. All right? So I just thought I'd rest that there tonight on the record as it were. Let me just see if I can take some comments there. Before we go. Levers Express says Dominica must put country first and not party. Once this party is working on behalf of the betterment of the people and country, then you give them the support and to continue. Nowadays, so much commitments and loyalty to these corrupt politicians. That is Levers Express speaking here. Rosie Mango says, hoping it's not another phantom. Well, let's hope so as well. Gerald Vital, personally, I think that in this present political crisis in Dominica, the idea of a new political party is quite welcome if it's a strategy to split the votes at the election in the interest of the victimized and the ostracized, and to ostracize the masses to bring an end to this Labour Party government. Let me just take that note again, Gerald, because I think I chopped up your comment too bad. Personally, I think that in this present political crisis in Dominica, the idea of a new political party is quite welcome. If it's a strategy to split the votes at the election polls in the interest of the victimized and ostracized masses to bring an end to the Labour Party government. Okay, I think I get the gist of what you're saying, but there were some words missing in my estimation. Zorro says here, by brother, I think I want to say my brother, it is yes or no point blank. Well, Zoro, you heard my rationale, you heard my response tonight. So it is you to take either a yes or no from it, all right? I do think how clearer you want me to be. But it is what it is. Ivinia Joseph says, love your truthfulness, I feel better. What do you feel better about, Ivinia? What do you feel better about? Anyway, we'll talk about that. Arlene Pierre talking about parties, what became of APP? Well, APP and the officials will have to rectify that, all right? Marshall Aransu, can it be in favor too? Oh, I think Marshall was responding to somebody here. All right. Yeah. Let me see. Somebody's writing their present private message here. Someone says here, the faster they come, the harder they fall. Fall until they learn to unite. As I read that comment here, right? Let me just plug something into our hearing there as well. Folks, I all think that, and that's my thinking now, that's my honest thoughts. I all think everybody that has been on the front line in Dominica, read the opposition, based on their words, I'm taking them at face value now, these people all mean well for Dominica's development. They all mean well. Where I think that there is this hiccup, this block in the way, or this hindrance, it is with all this meaning well mindset, it is what is the best way or ways or strategy to implement now to get us there as a people. That's my honest truth. And so that is where a proper analysis of where we are needs to be made, not from one political partisan lens, because if you ask me, I have seen it in Dominica, this partisan lens business, it has clouded and will continue to cloud the better judgment of Dominicans until this country is crushed, and it cannot be crushed any further. I know political parties serve their purpose. I know that. But to me, there's too much energy that is put into the political party or that group that one is part of. And so the bigger objective is lost. It is mangled in all the talk and all the, the back and forth, where the party's agenda goes before country's agenda. And so I really and honestly would like to seek divine intervention on Dominica's behalf now, that these partisan agendas can take the backseat, can be put to rest, and let us look at a more holistic agenda for Dominica. And what you have intertwining all that as well, it is the personalities. Different people have different personalities, and trust me, there will always be clashing of these personalities when these people come together, try to come together. And when these personalities clash, what I know, it is very hard to, quote unquote, unclash them. Unclash these personalities. And to me, that is one of the situations or reasons why we have been suffering, not making much movement in the opposition realm as it speaks where our country is concerned. And that's my honest truth. You have people with personalities Everybody has the right to the personality, but again, in the country's interests, which will downplay or come down to our interests at the end of the day, these personality clashes need not be that stumbling block ahead of us, or among us rather. And so there's this posture, this political posture now. If it's not my way, it's no way. That has not worked. That will not work. You may be the biggest political giant, as it were, in the room. You have to leave space. You have to leave room for the views and ideas of the quote-unquote smaller or the smallest political player as well. Might cannot be right in that regard. That has been part of our fate for too long. Because you speak the Queen's English better than somebody else, it doesn't mean you have to impose that sort of personality issue of yours against somebody else. Because you have more money, it doesn't mean that you have to, quote unquote, show off on somebody else in the same struggle with you. Because you have, quote unquote, the power of speech, as it were, it doesn't mean that the person who is stammering or have to collect their thoughts much later, it doesn't mean you have to just cast aside that person thought or thoughts. So whatever you possess more of, be it God-given or acquired over the years, it doesn't mean because someone is not there as yet, then you have to have this sort of, what they say, chauvinistic attitude. No. And I started a conversation, it was last week, Dominicans. And I think I want to revisit it, and I think I will be, what's the time? 7:30. We have to touch on that summit thing. That summit agenda will bring down the conversation tonight. But I think, Dominicans, I started a conversation, it was last week. And so those of you who were not there last week, you need to refresh yourself with the conversation before, and so you can now fall in line with what is to come. And I believe that is a conversation that I'm going to echo ever so often on these programs until it gets home. I believe, people, personally, if it was for my energy, my strength, I would give up with that race a long time ago. Because sometimes I can tell you straight off, this fight, this struggle for Dominica, it is draining. It takes a toll sometimes. And if it was for my own strength, my own meditation, my own personality, my own, if I was putting self at the front, I would say, you know something? Dominica is not worth the fight. Let me just move on to greener pasture or pastures as it were. But no, I make it a commitment to come to us ever so often with a very simple but profound message about country. Apart from all the other facts, news and otherwise, it's a very profound and simple message. A genuine, honest effort needs to be made among us as a people, especially those of us in the opposition, who align ourselves with the opposition cause. An honest, genuine effort needs to be made at this whole idea of coming together. Coming together, saying that in your mouth, it is good. But it is when we have to do the coming together, that is where it really matters. And that is where some of us, I'm putting myself in it, we have failed ourselves. And so what I said last week, let me go back there, because I think that is a needed step that we have, some of us have bypassed or misstepped in the whole idea of we ourselves coming together as a people to rectify our problems. You see this thing about coming together in terms of a coalition, a unity, that is all well and good. When we say it, oh, let us come together, we need to form this and we need to come unite, and that is all well and good. That is where now the tire meets the road, as they say it goes, when we have to do the coming up together. And I am saying, me being there for so long, we have not been the most genuine at that, some of us. We have not been the most honest at that, some of us. And so that to me needs to be rectified in moving forward. And so that is why last week I called for, and I'll continue to call for, a purging of ourselves. A reconciliation effort, a reconciliation process needs to be had like yesterday. We need to start there, people. Just thinking of coming together and not really and truly doing what needs to be done before the actual coming together, we will always be there. We'll be on that political treadmill. I've seen it. I know it. And so in my quiet moments, that is what struck me. That is what hit me. And I can tell you, folks, that is divine inspiration. Who have ears to hear, let them hear. An effort of reconciliation, honest, genuine effort needs to be had into anything before we think of coming together. I gave the suggestion or illustration last week when Jamaica, a country in our region, was going through its political turmoil. And it took, I am saying now, they didn't say, they didn't write it, but I got it through the writings. It was some divine intervention that hit Robert Nesta Marley, aka Bob Marley, when he, through his God-given gift, brought two quote-unquote warring politicians on stage, prime minister and opposition, and had them shake hands and had them realize that the country was resting on their shoulders. And so this political tribalism and tearing down and pulling down of Jamaicans that existed in the 70s predominantly needed to be arrested in the interest of country. Bob Marley brought these guys on stage. April 13th, I think, 1970 something. And from since that day on, that transition, it became better and better and better. No country, I'm not saying no country is perfect, but if you look then where Jamaica was, and today where Jamaica is presently, obviously where politics and religion are at play, you have these tensions. But it is nowhere close to what these people were eating and tearing down each other about. can go further afield. Let's move further. We had this apartheid situation in South Africa. And it took a group of people recognizing where South Africa was in those very worrisome period. What they call apartheid. And it took some men and women of courage, of stamina, to bring themselves into a body and said, you know something, let us attempt to fix South Africa's problem, really scourge of apathy that is tearing us apart. South Africa is no angel of a country today, but read their story or stories. And so I am suggesting, I am saying, I'm recommending Dominica now needs its own South Africa movement. There are other countries with similar situation, but just to name a few in the interest of time. Dominica needs its own South Africa movement. Dominica needs now its own Jamaican movement or process. Well, it's a movement first, which will lead to a process after. I am humbly suggesting to all the factions out there, we need to get that done, where we can eyeball each other eye to eye, especially those of us that matter, and try to rectify our situation as a people. Unless and until that is done, the people that we say we want to serve, we will continue to have them in political tatters. Before one is a labor right, they're supposed to be a Dominicanite. Before one is a workers' right, they're supposed to be a Dominicanite. Because one is a freedom right, whatever right you are, politically, precedence should take you being a Dominican. And that is where I believe we should get to. And that is my recommendation. So everybody I speak to now, you will hear me exposing that. We need to have our moment in Dominica whereby we would have broken that glass ceiling, as it were. And so Dominicans now, there can be a new awakening so that this political tearing up and pulling down and tearing away and this divisiveness, we have to arrest that, people, in the interest of not ourselves but our children and our children's future. This country needs a future, and I'm saying that very unapologetically. Final segment, Dominicans, before we go. It's already 20 to 8. We have been hearing much talk about the economic summit that the United Workers' Party and the Electoral Reform Coalition, they basically came together and sort of putting their energies, talents, and skill together to come together to have this economic summit. And based on what I heard so far, I believe it is a good move for Dominica, and so I want to endorse it wholeheartedly. When it just burst on the scene, we heard a lot of noise, and that's where I want to go back to what I said before. Some Dominicans not being acquainted with the facts, not being acquainted with the details factually of a situation, they go on a tangent. And that's the situation we live in. That's the country we live in. But now, in my estimation, some of those noise have been simmered down a bit. I think now we can focus more our attention now on matters of country now. So I know everybody will not be able to attend the summit, but at least give it your blessings, give it your wishes. Let it turn out to be for the betterment of our country, Dominic. And so all those who are behind the scenes trying to pull it off, make it happen, I congratulate you guys in more ways than one. Because I know putting something like that together, it takes a lot of hard work. And of course, it takes a lot of money, l'argent cherche. And with the resources being so scarce these days, then that is an added or extra pressure. Yeah? But I think the summit on a whole, based on what I heard, and one of the points I want to reiterate here is that agriculture is put high up on the agenda. Read that summit. And I truly believe where we are as a country, agriculture is one of the line items. That sector can really and truly take us out of the doldrums that we are if an honest effort is made at revitalizing certain key sectors, certain key people, certain key whatever it is, certain key cogs in that agricultural sector. Because we have done it before. There should be no rewriting of the wheel, people. And so I want to compliment Thompson Fontaine, Dr. Thompson Fontaine, and his team, who chose, in my mind, to go back to the blueprint that has established us as a country where agriculture is concerned. I want to compliment these guys. Because I think if we get it right there, we can see that sort of upward mobility where Dominica is concerned. And it's on that premise, that basis, I really and truly endorse the agricultural summit. Or the economic, well, say the agriculture, but it should be an agricultural summit. That's it. Finally, folks, before I leave, I know what I'm going to tell you now may be sounding like still news to you, but it is as fresh in my memory as yesterday. When the Concerned Citizen Movement, which yours truly was president of, hosted this protest action outside of Macmillan's gas station, and we were unlawfully tear-gassed by the Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force. Okay? I'm putting all of them in one lump now. That case, some of us, including myself, we decided to take that matter to a next level, to the legal level, to get some redress. And so I can report to us that matter has been in the legal system for some time. Mediation, what do you call the other process? When you go before master, I forget the process now, but it has been there. And so we have been summoned times without number to try to get some kind of solution. A matter of fact, I remember one time in front of mediator, the police through the high command, I think I reported that to us here sometime back, they agreed that what they did was illegal. They agreed. And that is the high command of the Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force. When they agreed, it was basically to dust up things as it were, as to where the matter go from there, as to the agreeing what was done was illegal. They decided to take a 5 or recess or what, or break. And I think they went to talk to some of their higher ups. I don't know who they talk to. But when they came back to the table, they decided, I am saying now, on advice of whoever they spoke to, decided to change their decision of agreeing that what they did was illegal. And so from that day, about 2 years back, that case, it just basically went into reverse gear. But I am pleased to announce to us tonight, coming up on the 24th and the 25th of June, that is next month, that case will finally be brought before the court of law. So before it wasn't before any judge yet. But on the 24th and 25th, there will be a hearing, or first hearing as it were, before a judge now. So it has now found itself, because of non-settlement by either side, before a real judge, so that a judge can hear the matter and obviously will give directions as to where that matter go from there, and subsequently the outcome, so that I can report. So all those of us who were brutally tear-gassed by our policemen and women, that case, it comes up for a hearing on the 24th and 25th of June. And based on how things have been panning out so far, I am very much convinced that justice will go the way of the oppressed, of the brutalized, because that is what justice is supposed to be. That is who justice is supposed to be serving. And so, it's on that note, before I end, I want to compliment Cara Shillingford. She has been spearheading that effort in terms of our lead legal mind on that matter. And if you know Cara very well, Cara is no, as we say in Dominica, no 2x4 lawyer. If she thinks that that case did not have any merit in it, where justice is concerned for the brutalized, she would have maybe advised us differently already. But she's even more fortified than us. Even after all this number of years, all these shenanigans, she's much more energized to put it through and have it be ventilated in front of a court. And so, let us hope that the Dominican public, by and large, with the persons who chose to bring that matter to court, and I can mention our names. Athi Mata is one. We have this brother, what's his name? They call him the tear gas man. His right name doesn't come to mind now. They call him the tear gas man, Mr. Daisy. Yes, Daisy, something Daisy. So Athi Mata, Mr. Daisy, myself, I hope I'm not forgetting anybody. I've been championing that battle in the court for some time now. And we are sort of seeing a little opening where at least some kind of verdict, one way or the other, will be handed down sooner rather than later. And I'm hoping that justice is served so that the people of Dominica will have some kind of comfort knowing that those of us who were brutally tear-gassed by the police in unprovoked ways, then we will have something to not shout about, but be very happy about. Yeah? So Dominicans, that is it for me in terms of time spent tonight. I want to thank you for your time each and every time. Remember, there's no Civic Vibes program tomorrow. We are giving the mothers all their break that is needed tomorrow. And so in that vein, I want to wish all the mothers a happy Mother's Day in advance when that time comes around tomorrow. Okay? We have some persons as well who are playing the role of mothers. You guys know yourself very well. If you fall in that category, happy day to you as well when that time comes around tomorrow. Dominicans, that's it. Thank you very much for your eyes and ears. I want to bid you a very good night. Whatever is left of your night, please enjoy it. All right. I think there's a song that is in my there's a song that is in my